So currently the son of Wolverine, Dakin or Fang, is possessed and is now going by the Hellverine, who is a mix between Wolverine and Ghost Rider. And of course, just how this sounds, he is pretty powerful. Now my name is AJ, this is the Hero Informer, and let's get into it. So where we pick up and immediately begin in this story is some sort of flashback. A flashback going over recent history with Dakin, Wolverine's son, where it shows his unfortunate death by the hands of Sabretooth, because Sabretooth killed Dakin to get back at Wolverine. But it seems like even in death, Dakin couldn't get any rest, as there were more plans for him, as we see the entity BAGRA-GHUL shoot out for the sky seeking a new host. And as he finds the body of Dakin, he bonds with him, not only bringing him back to life, but more powerful than ever, and turning him into this new Hellverine, a fiery instrument of killing that is compelled to punish evil. So he is basically like Ghost Rider or the Punisher, in the sense that yeah, he kills, maims, and destroys, but only bad people who seemingly deserve it. Moving over though, we pick up in Washington DC, deep below the Pentagon in a secret facility called Project Hellfire, where you can guess, the government is doing experiments using Hellfire energy, weapons, and entities. And because of its meddling, it created 5 Hellfire super soldiers basically, who are going on rampages destroying everything in their wake, and the only thing seemingly able to counteract them and stop them is the Hellverine himself. But for now, we see the general of this project call in Logan, the original Wolverine, to see what he can do to help hunt and quell this new problem. And as this wide, wonky-eyed general leads Wolverine deeper into the base, he even makes a note how this is no different than how Weapon X did to him, experimenting and changing people, except this time they're using dead bodies of previous soldiers, robbing them from their very grave. But of course the general tries to excuse this, saying the soldiers died serving their country. They were respected, but now they're gone. But Logan still doesn't respect this and spits on the shoe, saying whatever helps you freaks sleep at night. And why is this general and this entire project even putting up with Logan? Well, because they seemingly need his help. As the general admits, he's made a mistake, and that's why they must seek out the others and retire or kill them to take him out from the field. But Logan then makes something very clear, as he steps up to the general, grabbing him by the collar, saying, I don't care about you or them. The only reason we are here still talking is because of my son. And the only reason he wants to seek out these so-called destroyers or Hellfire agents is for bait, so he can finally see what happened to his son and the thing he has turned into now. And as Logan snatches up some files detailing the reports on where they are and what they look like, he then storms off, saying he hunts better alone. But of course, this general has other plans and still needs to track Logan down. And of course, he has a backup plan using some kind of hellhound. And while they're not known for their obedience, they are still pets and pretty good hunters themselves. As the hellhound takes in Logan's scent from the saliva on his shoe, the general then gears up to send this hellhound off to find Logan. But immediately moving over, picking up in some random shack in the middle of the woods, we see Wolverine's son. As the comic goes on to say, in so many ways he isn't himself anymore, as he is not quite alive, but not quite dead. His memories are hiding behind locked doors. He still can't even form his own words, but he can feel. He can feel pain. And this confuses him, but for now, he hides and he heals and waits to be called to fight again. And of course, with all the evil in the world, he doesn't have to wait long. You see, this new Hellverine entity that he is now, he targets evil in the same way that a dog scents a hunt. It is a combination between proximity and extremity. And in this particular example, we see a terrorist or an old man threatening an entire bus full of innocents with bombs strapped to his chest. But of course, this new Hellverine rides in on his fiery motorcycle, making extremely quick work of the man, stabbing and grabbing the man, riding off as he explodes. As the comic goes on to explain, the Hellverine was hungry for any and every evil, and eager to share his burning punishment. We then pick up at some type of cemetery, where we see the general meeting with the secretary, because as it would obviously and frankly not surprisingly seem that corruption in the government runs deep, as we find out that this whole fiasco not only looks bad on Project Hellfire, but even on the US government itself. Because it seems she, the secretary, is the one who secretly funded this entire project herself and greenlit it to get results, so the US government could produce some type of super soldiers. But of course, they are not getting the results they hoped for, as she says there's been news cycles all over the attacks, and if word gets out what you've done, it won't be pretty. So fix this or there will be hell to pay, as she threatens the general. But moving back over once more, we then see some of the consequences of reanimating the dead, as we pick up in the home and family of not only one of the soldiers who died, but whose body was stolen to be experimented on against his very will. Because as it will turn out, yeah, technically Project Hellfire was a success. They were able to weaponize Hellfire energy into human bodies. But the downside is, they are still human bodies in host, meaning they still keep some of their former lives, for better or for worse. As we see one of the soldiers named Peter make his way back to his family, almost instinctually, but still in this demonic Hellfire form, scaring his daughter and his wife even if his intentions are good. And as his wife is in absolute disbelief at the situation, as seemingly her dead husband is back alive in this weird form in her living room. But she is able to convince him to let go of their daughter. But as he does and the mother and daughter start to back away, he then starts to whisper out mine, because it seems almost instinctually he longs to be together with his family once more. But this longing is very short-lived, as we see the Wolverine arrive at the scene, literally beheading him in one clean swipe. And you might think, okay, well, sheesh, beheading someone is definitely one way to deal with a problem, but you would be wrong, as not specifically this problem, because now as a Hellfire agent, your head being detached from your body isn't the problem it used to be, as Peter's body gets up and starts running for his family once more as Wolverine is forced to tackle him to the ground. But because of Wolverine's moves, the family is able to get out into safety. Well, I say safety, as because once they run out, they see the Project Hellfire there with the Hellhound, as they have tracked Wolverine's scent. But of course, this is the least of Logan's problems right now, as funnily enough, the body without a head is putting up a pretty decent fight, as its almost porcupine-like needles stab through Logan. And with that, Logan quickly reacts, stabbing the Hellfire emblem on its chest. And as he breaks it, pure Hellfire starts to spew out, burning Logan down to his very skeleton. But moving back outside to the mother and daughter, we see the Hellhound then overpower the men holding it back as it charges for the family, getting ready to presumably tear them limb from limb. As a comic then goes on to say, what Wolverine didn't understand then is that the soldier named Peter didn't want to hurt his family, no. He just wanted them back. He wanted his life back. But of course, what used to be couldn't be any longer. As you see the dog continue the charge, but before he's able to get even remotely close, chains wrap around him and pull him apart this time, limb from bloody limb. As we see two Hellfire agents arrive at the scene, and it is revealed that they are the ones that killed the Hellhound. And seeing how Logan is somewhat struggling with just one who he had the ambush on and beheaded instantly, two of them on their A game might be a little bit of a problem for Logan, but a problem that he might not have to deal with, at least for now. As we cut over later and see Logan finally healed up from being burned alive, he finally walks outside of the burning home and sees a mother and daughter all right and safe, but the same cannot be said for the Hellhound and other agents, as we see bits and pieces of their body all on the ground, while the two undead agents who caused all of this rocket off across the sky to elsewhere. Because as it would seem, these agents of Hellfire have just declared war on the United States of America. But off somewhere different, we then pick up in a grassy field, as you see a parallel between the now son of Wolverine and the undead agents of Hell. As the comic goes on to promptly explain, just as the destroyers were awakening, slowly so was he. Dead neurons were sparking again. He now knew his name, even if most of his memories were only half seen through some kind of thick fog. And really right now, he only wanted to rest, to recover, but unfortunately, there was more work to do, and something just then ignited inside of him, as we see him pop 3 very Wolverine-esque claws from his knuckles, which is weird because Akiro is famously known for his 3 claws, but one coming out of his wrist. But this is explained because BAGRA-GHUL, the entity that is making him into this Hellverine that he is, used this form because that's what he was most accustomed to last time he bonded with Logan. But as he then fires up and turns into this Hellverine once more, the comic then goes on to say he can then sense the destroyers as they approach Washington DC in battle formation. And of course, as the Hellverine gears up ready to fight these destroyers, he has no plan other than to just fight them. But his actions may inadvertently save the country itself. But that is all as this issue and video comes to a close. Now if you made it this far, leave a like, or even subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. This is the Hero Informer, and thank you for watching.